there, my Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising sign. Welcome to your What Do I Need read for this full moon to new moon, December 2019. Yeah, it's 12/12. People are talking about the 12/12 portal, like we didn't have enough with the 8/8 and the 11/11. Oh, please. I've been doing this a very, very long time. I was part of the original 11/11 activation back in the 90s. Google it. Put in the name Solara, like the Toyota. I used to work for her. For me, it's just another full moon, but it is the last full moon, not just of the year, but of the decade. And since I am your reader, Mark Angela Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, and president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, since 1998, I am very, very thrilled, very, very glad to be doing this reading for my Capricorns, particularly my earth signs. I am a Virgo, Pisces moon, Leo rising, blah, 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 but, you know, I'm always down for my earth signs. Cool. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, making my way to 1,000 subscribers so I can do super live chat, which will be a fucking hoot all the way around. Plus, once a month for the first couple of months, I will do a little ditty called Drunk Tarot. There's a link in the description box below explaining what that is. Cool, so I don't have to say it every single time I do a video until I hit 1,000. To my subscribers, welcome back. You know, I love reading you guys so much, and I'm having so much fun doing this. Even though I got a new gig reading cards in 2 different locations on Long Island, that's still unfolding, so I'm still going to make sure that I'm putting out my videos in a timely manner, because this is so much fun for me. Cool. If you are new to the channel, if you're new to my readings, well, What Do I Need reading is a little bit different than I think what I see a lot on YouTube going on. It's sort of like pulling an oracle card or a tarot card or, you know, a rune or whatever. Sort of like a rune of the day, something like that. A divination system. Show me today. This is more show me what I need. It's a bit more direct. It's a good question. What do I need? What do I need? Show me what do I need, right? Because no matter what we think we might need, I mean, there's what we need to get done in a day, certainly, right? We need to breathe, right? We need to eat, we need to pee, we need to sleep, you know. But from a higher perspective, to ask the divine, your own higher selves, in my case, angels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, and your own higher self, what do I need? And so we're only getting 5 cards. It's about a 20-minute spread reading usually. Sort of like, I guess, sort of like, you know, checking the oil, right? What do I need? I need another quart and a half, right? So keep in mind this is a general read. That's why I always do sun, moon, rising signs, bottom line for any zodiacal series I do. Please do check your other signs. Don't try and make it fit. Gives you such a headache when you do that. It's not worth it, right? If it's yours, you'll know by some resonance in the body of attraction or repulsion, either like oh or and particularly when it's it doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing, but just pay attention to it. Intuition has a lot to do with how energy feels in the body, right? A little different than emotion, just saying. So shall we? Please remember to breathe. Oh yeah, all of the decks that I'm reading are in the description box below, along with a link to my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, on my website, which I have marked down $10 from $24.95 to $14.95, because I think my readers might be able to use the book themselves. It is an ebook, so you can literally like flip through. It's essentially a book of prayer organized by chakra. Yeah, it's a good book. Saved my life. Was writing it last year. We put it out at Yule of last year. So just for the month of December, I'm dropping the price down for people who want it. Cool. Lovely little gift for yourself. And maybe to somebody else if you feel like that's their deal. Please remember to breathe. As we breathe, we're actually synchronizing ourselves to the prana, the chi, the grace, the guidance, the very source from whence this information comes when you do a reading. So I'm really doing my best to consciously breathe as often as I can, right? Breathing it in, breathing it out, blessings for self, blessings for all, right? So if you join me in that, I have a feeling you'll kind of get more out of the reading because you'll be more centered and present, and you'll certainly feel better after the reading just because you're going to breathe anyway. Being deliberate about it with a cup of coffee. It goes a long way. We love Wonder Mug, don't we? Let's get to work. Please, deep breath. Ah, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. One Caroline Mace archetype card for this Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising sign. There you are. Please, one card to represent the dominant archetype they will be dealing with this waning moon, meaning from this full moon to new moon next, December 2019. It's going to go new moon and then void, of course, the same moments. It'll be in Gemini for a hot second, then it's going to be void, going into Cancer later on, so that's a little intense. But then new moon in Capricorn 3, oh my god, the 26th, which means the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, essentially the 3 Christmas days, are going to be in dark moon. So please, for the Capricorns in particular, since it's going to be new moon in Capricorn, please, one card in clarity. What's the dominant archetype they need to deal with? And the vampire. Now, if this is not you, then you are dealing with one. It is the covert narcissist. It is the codependent. And we will have a much bigger look at that once I get the other 4 cards on the table, because I have taught an entire workshop, 2, 3. I could do a 5-hour workshop on the vampire archetype, because I have a vampire slayer. I am Mal, the vampire slayer. Am I ever? It's called Witches and Vampires. If you want to check out I did a 2-hour lecture it's on Vimeo on demand. Just go through my links. You'll see my Vimeo on demand channel on there, or just Google Vampires and Witches, Mark A. Lyons on Vimeo, 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 and Vimeo on demand. All right, so we're off to the races, aren't we, my Capricorns? Hold on one second, please. Sorry about that. My oldest likes to get into shenanigans sometimes, like right next to me right there. And I'm like, no, 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 you're not doing that right now. So, like I said, let's get down to business. Come here, my kitties. They're, you know what it is? It's rainy out. See, now they're scratching shit up in the living room. I apologize. Boys, what are you gonna do? Nice deep breath is what we're gonna do. There we are, my angels, please. No shit, my angels. One card in clarity for this Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising sign. For this new moon to full moon next, really, we're talking the vampire archetype here that they are either dealing with themselves, within themselves, dealing with somebody else, or dealing with a vampiric situation where they need to kind of guard their necks. Please, my angels, one card, your celestial clarity, please. What do they need to focus on? What do they need to know for this series? Well, that you have the support, right? Great card. That you have the support of the divine. So think of yourselves surrounded by sunlight, because vampires can't go near that shit. Now, like I said, this could be you are the one dealing with the vampire archetype within yourself. Lord knows its epidemic proportion in the world. Could be in somebody else that you are dealing with, sometimes a family member or even someone close to you. It can get pretty fucking hairy. When I read that card, you'll see why. Or, you know, it could be a situation, a vampiric, draining situation. Parasitic. Vampires are parasites. And we all know of parasitic people. And anybody can be a vampire temporarily when we get tired, when we get burned out. See, I could talk about this forever. But my father was a codependent vampire. So, you know, you learn to deal with it in family members, but in other relationships you don't have to deal with it, but you have to be aware of what the pattern is. And that can be anywhere from the covert narcissist to the codependent to, you know, drug addicts have it to an extent. Yeah, tricky shit. And really, if you know anything about vampire lore, L-O-R-E, understanding the archetype isn't that much of a stretch. It's just really a question of symbolic interpretation. And I'm so sorry. There's lots of distractions going on today, and I apologize for that. It's been a busy day here at Drawing the Circle. Let's ask. Oh, by the way, this is a Healing with the Angels Oracle Doreen Virtue. This is Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Let's ask the gods on this. They've always been of extreme help, particularly Apollo. But here we call to the goddess that sits in the throne of Capricorn for me, please, Persephone, Spring Maiden, Summer Lady, Queen of the Underworld, please. My gods, my goddesses, Persephone in particular, one card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. Sun, moon, rising sign, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. What do they need to deal with, to help them, to heal them, to protect them? This full moon to new moon next, dealing with this vampire archetype. The learner, brilliant, right? So that's what? The 8 of Pentacles, right? So put your head down, stay focused, keep working, stay grounded, be in the present moment, right? Learn from this. Oh my goodness gracious. And that's so great that you got a Pentacle card for Capricorn. So it's something very practical, and it's very, very supported, not just from Spirit, but certainly those in your circle of friends, your circle of light that you're probably going to need around you anyway. Let's get from the Masters, and I think we'll get some real insight from this deck, because the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, Baby Love Pack of Baby, that's where it's at. I have to say it every time. A little compulsive, I know. But this is A Course in Miracles based. And look, it's not that codependency and narcissism can't be healed. You'll read a lot, you'll watch a lot of videos saying they can't be healed. Well, they have to really want to heal like anybody else. But in my experience, it's not purely a psychological thing. It's a soul wound. And psychologists, by definition, are not allowed to talk that level of spirituality, usually by law, right? No more than me as a spiritual counselor, which I've been doing for decades, can really diagnose or treat somebody for a personality disorder or a mental illness. There are laws against that kind of thing. Virgo. And Virgo, cross your legs. So of course, anything can be healed, but it depends on your definition of healing versus curing, right? Because they're different dimensional languages. Let's get you then a Love Pack card from the Ascended Masters. Oh, please, my Ascended Masters. I'm sure the holidays, if ever, is vampire season, right? So please, one card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. Sun, moon, rising sign. What do they need for this full moon to new moon next, considering it's going to be dark moon right across really the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th of December? That's a little rough. So please, one card in clarity for this Capricorn collective. What do they need? Healing. Okay. We're all on the same page. Good, 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 good. One more card down. Whispers of Love Oracle. I adore, adore, adore. And this one sometimes just tells you right out what to do, which I kind of like. Breathe. The higher selves of all involved. Please, one card for this Capricorn collective. Sun, moon, rising sign. For this full moon to new moon next, what do they need to deal with this Capricorn archetype dealio? That they have the support, they need their support, they need to know it's there, that there is a lesson here, a lifelong lesson, a hard work lesson going on here, and there is a healing element. So what says the higher self? New love. Embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth, and I'll bet you anything it's the latter. Yeah, it could be a new relationship coming into your life, but if that's the case, you really want to keep an eye out. Educate yourself on the vampire archetype. It's always time to learn something that will keep your neck safe and your lifeblood in your veins. Every archetype, shadow and light. See, this is one of those cards. You're like, what's the light side of the vampire, right? Just like you hear the lover archetype, you're like, ooh, the lover archetype. The shadow side is just as toxic, as brilliant as the light is. It's always neutral in that sense. So let's look at the shadow, the lead. I like to call it. Shadow attribute. Depleting others for your psychic survival. Please stick a pin in that word, survival. Chronic complaining and codependency. So 2 pieces of lead. There are more. She couldn't have fit them all on the card. All right. So let's look at that. Depleting others for your psychic survival. Now you look at, what does the word psychic mean? It's really, the word psyche originally is Greek. It means the soul. But, you know, your soul survival, your soul is immortal. So what we're talking here is more about the psyche in terms of your psychology, your psychic energy, your energy field, the stuff behind your eyes. But I would say sparing the immortality of the truth of who you are, right? The soul, the spirit, all of that stuff, the higher self. So depleting others for your psychic survival. So when you're feeling down, when you're not able to give yourself the love that you need, the support that is coming from spirit, streaming in with every breath is the prana, the chi, the grace, the guidance, everything you need for that moment. But when we are displaced, imbalanced emotionally, mentally, depressed, drained, physically depleted, tired, exhausted, then it becomes about psychic, energetic survival, and we deplete others. Now look, we've all done it. But there is a real difference between this being a lifelong pattern, just being tired and needing help. So not everybody who needs help is dealing with the vampire archetype, mind you. But if it is, here's this next part, chronic complaining and codependency. Now, chronic complaining for me is absolutely my first giveaway when when dealing with a vampire, right? Like, I am predominantly optimistic about my life because I do get signs and guidance and grace, and I pray every morning. Like, I keep myself in alignment with my spirit, with my soul, with my gods every single day, not through endless hours of spiritual busy work, but through a true, authentic approach, heart-centered. I cry with the love of God pretty much every day, right? To me, but I'm a mystic and I'm Pisces moon, right? So that's my way of doing it, highly individualized for everybody. So when I'm dealing with somebody that no matter how many, because look at what I do for a living, like no matter how much counsel you give, and there's always a complaint, no, that won't work, no, that, it's like they have to turn away from the light that they're coming to get from me anyway. So that's one thing in a client situation. When it's somebody in my personal life, a little harder to track because they are seductive, right? Not always romantic, sexual. There's just a lot here. But then that other part, codependency. The thing about codependency is it is a violation of boundaries. I mean, it really started off, the term codependence was really coined around pretty much drug and alcohol abuse, and though that is still the core of it, I mean, not everybody who's dealing with codependent patterns are dealing with drugs and alcohol, but there's a violation of boundaries there about choices, of being trapped, right, of being so dependent of what you are supposed to be giving to yourself, but you believe or you experience, or sometimes, right, it's just like it's you're unable to, so you compromise yourself in all of these different ways to get it from another person, right? It is just as bad as drug addiction, in my opinion, because in a way it destroys more people, right? It's vampiric. You're draining people left, right, and center, even codependently, or you're the one offering up your neck, you see? So that's the other part of this, that you might not be the vampire, but you might be here, hungry, thirsty, that you are their blood bag. Really, covert narcissism. Google it. There are 10 billion videos on YouTube there. Some of them are really off-the-wall toxic, but some of the information is very helpful to know. Very vampiric. I mean, literally, they call the victims of covert narcissists supply blood bags. Yeah. So the light, that's an awful lot of lead, Mark. How about the light? Well, the light part is what a vampire avoids, the light, right? Can't even see their own reflection. Don't bother calling out a vampire. They won't see it. Let's not even get to wooden stakes. By the way, wooden stakes aren't just good for vampires. They'll pretty much kill anybody. Just saying. Light attribute. Makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So it has to do with awareness. And how do you know that? Sometimes you don't know until afterwards. And sweetheart, if you're an empath, if you're an energetically sensitive first waver, divine feminine, anything like that, we're here to help people, right? And we feel them, we feel the pain, and we feel the soul beyond all of that. So we don't always see the parasite, right? That's why garlic kills parasites. I mean, the symbolism is so routed through all of the mythology and lore, seriously. So yeah, it's all about dealing with you loving yourself, supporting yourself. Here, let's plug this together. If you are the one that is draining rather than being drained, well, you got to get yourself right. You have the support from spirit. The lesson is here for you to learn. Just pay attention. Become aware, are you draining or is someone draining you? There's so much involved in this stuff. But what healing? The masters are saying this is all about healing. That if you want to look at it, they have to steal, vampires have to steal energy, seduce energy horizontally because they can't access it vertically, which means from the light, from the divine light, like there's a pinch in the hose or completely cut off. That's why holy symbols burn them alive. Oh, the light, right? Too much voltage. So think of, you know, that process of healing with a new love of self, right? I'm gonna say inner child work, inner child work, inner child work, whether you are the vampire or the supply. Inner child work, because even if the person is wildly codependent, you might be the other codependent in this situation. Welcome to Dark Moon at the holidays. Look, I did not set up the astrological cycles this year. Whoever did, go yell at them. Don't yell at them. Nobody did. It's just the astrological tables are mathematically rigged the way that they are. But that Capricorns, you have a huge opportunity to start 2020 without a parasite on your neck if this is someone else, or really knowing what it is that you can focus on for 2020 to really heal yourself. Because once you have unvampired yourself, you become a vampire slayer, which yes, means at one point in my life I was vampiric. But can I be honest with you? As adolescents, we kind of all are. It's just that something happens and we get stuck in that time. That's why soul retrieval, you know, the shamanic work of embracing the shadow, it's through all different cultures. We all have our demons. But now, if you've noticed, we're in a process on the planet where even politically the demons are being exorcised. All of the shadows are coming out of the closet into the light of day. Our vampires are being slain left, right, and center, sparkly or not. And by the way, Team Eric, if you even gotta ask, what I wouldn't do for one of those brothers, just saying. My Capricorns, reach out. I am good at this. I have helped many a person slay a vampire in their lives. I even know how to heal a vampire, which is different than how you slay a vampire. Well, essentially how you heal a vampire is you slay the vampire that sired them, but sometimes that's their parents and sometimes they're already dead. So what are you going to do? You go get the spiritual counseling and the psychological counseling therapy necessary. Because even if you can, look, just saying the word codependence in a reading is tricky, right? Look it up. Do the research. There are checklists. Look at the checklist. If you're like, holy fuck, I am trapped in a codependent situation, then at least you know, take the lesson. Right? But you can't take a lesson you don't know anything about. Start your research. You are an earth sign. And this is coming from a Virgo who incarnated into some pretty heavy family dynamic. And yet here I am, 51 years later, purple-haired gay witch, self-employed for 20 plus years, enjoying my life, you know, doing well, healing every step of the way and every day and passing on what I've learned. That's very Capricorn too. So you hang in there. This is your holiday, the season of light. You rise up, and let me give you the blessing here and now. May the Capricorn collective, sun, moon, rising signs be blessed with all that they need to get the healing and the support from this lesson, and that they discover a new love of self and a new love of divine and a new love of the path and a new love of their own inherent holiness, let alone the days of the holy days, that they may grow, that they may spread their wings of light and be that source that they truly are. Source of love, source of wisdom, source of power. Never ending, ever fulfilling, ever refilling for the well-being of all in fulfillment of the divine plan. And so it is. Thank you so much, Capricorns. What an intense read. Not bad for my first one of the day. Got 2 more to do. So I am going to get to that. But for now, my darlings, as ever, hail, happy holidays. Pile up on the garlic. Farewell and blessed be.